Hi my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fresh Planet Zoo episode and a fresh episode of Let's Build Together. Last episode is linked above, my friends, in case you missed it. I believe it was the jagged rocks that we did in the sea lion habitat in Tropical Wings. This time it's another Tropical Wings inspired build, and this is off the back of suggestions that I asked for on Discord, and someone wanted to know how to make custom planters. So in today's Let's Build Together, we are going to build kind of an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the same, but it's an example of the custom planters that I created for Tropical Wings Zoo. They're all over the place. They're in different sizes. They're all circles, but I've got some large, medium and smalls. We're going to build the largest of them today, but what I'll do is I will share the tips with you guys so you know how to make them smaller. Basically, this is a really simple technique that you should all be able to kind of follow along with, and hopefully this will help you achieve, you know, some more kind of rounder and more circular shapes as well in some of your builds, because you can replicate the technique we're going to use for these planters with lots of other things like making curves and building and so on and so on. So, as you can see, there's not too many pieces, but let's go and find out the pieces we need to complete this build. Right, so gang, these are the pieces you're going to need. There's actually not a lot, just 4 pieces. And actually one of these pieces gets deleted right at the end. So essentially it's just 3 different pieces that make up the base of the planters that I have all over Tropical Wings Zoo. So if you don't have the South American DLC, you might have to find some different pieces to use, but there are some in the game that are very similar to the ones I'm using. But the top 2 pieces, I do believe, if memory serves me correct, are from the South American DLC. So if you don't have it, there is a normal stone piece instead of this coloured one, and there are wood pieces that are very similar to one that I'm going to use. So the first piece that we are going to need for today's Let's Build Together is the wood beam thin painted 1 meter. This comes in 2 meter and 4 meter sizes as well, but because this is going to be pretty low to the ground, you can get away with the 1 meter piece. Then you're going to need the temple painted stone support beam 01. Again, there is a 02, there's a small and a large. We use the small because, once again, we don't really need it to be too big. And then we're going to be using the mulch patches circle 4 meter. It's the biggest circle that you can find. I basically use that one for the large, and then I go down a size for medium and down size again for the small design, basically, gang. And then you are going to need the mud column 01 1 meter, and this is actually a grid piece, and this is the piece that helps us get the circular shape to our build overall. All of the items but the mulch can be found in the construction tab. The mulch, of course, can be found in the nature tab. And we now get to the part of building this together, gang. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go into this group. I'm going to select this this piece here, and we're going to place this piece down. I am actually going to separate this from this group because that will interfere with the technique we're going to use. But we're going to place that down first. We're then going to go to nature, and we're going to go and get that 4 meter patch. I'm actually going to place it on top of the piece because that means it will be central. Basically, that will be the center piece to the build. We're now going to need to grab this again, but we're going to duplicate it. So you're going to press Control and D, and that will duplicate your piece. Now, if you was to pull it to this side, that makes that 4 meter gap, but you can reduce this, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to go down to 1 meter using the grid size down here in the bottom corner, and we're going to drag this out so it is just about touching. And I believe, if memory serves me correct, it's 2 notches to the side, and that is where you kind of get your basically your perfect distance for where we're going to be placing the actual edges of our planter. We are not going to go the same way the other way because we actually need to create this piece first before we can put it over here. So what we're now going to do is we are going to get the stone piece first. So we're going to go back to the construction tab. I have these saved in my favorites, as I always say, do have them saved if they are going to be pieces you use all the time. Here we go, temple painted stone support beam 1. We're going to put it in the middle there, like that. You literally hover it over. If you've got angle snap and position snap, that's the best thing to have ticked on, because it will help you massively in this instance. Press Z and it will rotate it for you, and we're going to place that piece. And then what we're going to do is we are going to grab the wood beam thin painted 1 meter. And we are going to place the one piece on top like so. We're then going to click on it, and we are going to take that piece right to the edge, and then we are going to press Control and X to duplicate it, and we are going to pull that just to the edge here. Now, if memory serves me correct, if you get this right, it should avoid any of the clipping, which is perfect. You can now grab both pieces and go to the back of the stone piece. And now you can go down, and this is really up to you, the distance that you want it. I don't tend to like there being too much wood on show. I just like it to be a kind of accent piece, but I kind of just do it to the back of the stone piece, so it sits on the back of the stone, so you've got some exposed stone at the front and some wood at the back. You can have this closer in, you can put it at the front if you wish. It's entirely up to you, but this is just the way I've been making these. That's probably actually a little bit too far back. I think it's more that we just about see the wooden piece at the back like so. So what I'm going to do is just change the colours, because it just makes it nice, doesn't it? So we'll just use a nice kind of grey colour with a nice dark wood. And we're now going to select these 3 pieces, press X, and we're just going to sink them to about where we want them, basically, like so. And then we are going to select all of that there, not that piece, but with this piece here, we're going to select it all. We're going to press Control D, and it's going to come over this side. We're going to press Z twice, and then you just need to shift it down so it's the same. So basically you've duplicated that both sides. So that's essentially the start of how you create this, basically. What you're going to do now though is you're just going to select it all, get rid of the mulch, and then you're going to get rid of this. You're going to get rid of this and get rid of this. Essentially, these grid pieces you're using as just kind of placement. Now you're going to press Control and X. And if I've done this right, then this should work. Okay, so what I like to do is just go around and check that it all touches and it connects up. So as you can see, you can now rotate this piece in a perfect circle, which is absolutely beautiful. Now you can do it this way if you want, where you can keep it on your grid, but if you want to avoid the clashing and stuff like that, then I do suggest that you turn that off, and then you've got a bit more leeway to kind of work with, and that way as well, if you wanted to have any gaps between the stone, you can do, basically. And that is really as simple as that. I'm going to actually, for this one, I'm going to keep it on the grid, because it will just make life a little bit easier. So I'm just going to put that angle snap back on, and we're just going to work our way around like so, and we are going to create these beautiful planters, basically. And as you can see, you just keep going until you get to the end. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Until you get to the end. Now, what I will say is that you might get some a little bit more clashing with the very last one. For whatever reason, it's really difficult to make perfect circles, but this is kind of like the best that you can do. So what you need to do now is grab your mulch and just raise it up to the point where it's just below the stone, basically, like so, because the stone is basically what hides the edges of your mulch. Then you get a nice trim with the wood, so you can get rid of this now. You can get rid of this now. There is actually another one inside that we should have got rid of at the beginning. You can get rid of that, and then what you can do is you just select it all, press X, and then you can drop it into the ground. And it really is as easy as that. Now, the reason my ones look slightly different is because I changed the colours up of the bits around the edge, basically. So what I will do is I will take every kind of third one like so, and I just do it a different shade, and it just ends up really, really nice. If you take every third one, then you can use 3 different shades of maybe the same color, and it works out perfectly, basically. So if we were to just take a slightly lighter color, and then if we were to do the same thing again, so you're just going to go to the one after the one you've just done, just like so. Really, really easy stuff. Just highlight them all. And then last one there, I believe, and then we'll just go down again, and then as you can see, you got 3 different shades of grey there now, and it just looks a little nicer rather than that one blocky colour. And that is that. It's really, really that simple, gang. It's not hard. It's a great technique, and you can take that technique and run with it. You can create domes, you can create cylindrical buildings, you can make tubes that your animals walk through, all using the same technique. If you're going to make stuff that you want, you know, like tunnels and tubes for animals to walk in, you create it in this fashion, then you get rid of those pieces, and then you just rotate it on its end. That's another thing I could probably show you at a later date if you should so wish. I was basically asked about this, so I wanted to come in, create it for you, and show you exactly how it looks. And so what I've done as well is I've put the original up on the screen, so you can actually see that there are some slight differences. I obviously brought the wood further forward than I first thought, so actually you've got a larger lip on this one. So it just shows you the difference that you can get from just bringing those wooden pieces forward a little. This one actually has come out a bit nicer than this one, in my opinion. I actually think that this is a little bit more perfect. So yeah, but then I don't mind the imperfections on some things, but yeah, that's really, really that simple. You finish it off, gang, in any way you want. You can grab whatever trees and stuff that you wish. I always like to go with this big bamboo because it fits in there perfectly. So if we were to just place that there and then place that there, as you can see, it just fits so nicely, doesn't it? But it also works if you wanted to put a tree. So I like the beech trees personally. If you wanted to put a tree in there, that works just as nice. They really are a lovely little planter, and like I say, you can make them a bit smaller. All you do to make them smaller is you grab this piece here and you just make your gap smaller, and then you do the same rotate, but it will just give you a smaller circle. And so there you have it, my friends. We're done and dusted for another episode of Let's Build Together. I do hope this was a helpful one. Not only can you make these beautiful custom planters, but that's a great technique to know for making circle shapes, something that's quite hard to achieve in Planet Zoo, not just Tropical Wings, but in Planet Zoo, because of its grid-based system. As you all know, though, I like to build off the grid, always being different. Subscribe if you're new, my friends. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. But until next time, stay safe, stay humble, and I will see you real soon.